My name is Tina Sherman. I am Senior Campaign Director at Moms Rising for Maternal Justice. And I am so grateful to have with us today Dr. Danett. Dr. Danett, welcome. And thank you so much for joining our conversation today on Wellness Wednesday to talk about fibroids, breastfeeding, and maternal health. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so thankful for your work and the work of Moms Rising. And, it's just, do such powerful work and have some of my favorite people here. So
I love it. We realize it is a small world. Well, for folks that are tuning in, more than 26 million women in the United States are affected by fibroids. And uterine fibroids are a non-malignant growth of the uterus that can be painful, lead to irregular periods, cause fatigue, enema, and affect fertility. And Dr. Danett is going to start us on this conversation and tell us a bit more. I gave like the general blip, the non-clinical blip, but tell us a bit about fibroids. And I feel like it's the conversation that we don't have, but we kind of have on the sidelines when we're talking to our friends. So can you give us the breakdown on what are fibroids?
Absolutely. I want to say this first, that my doctorate is in, the official terminology is a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. I've been told many times that oriental is derogatory, and so I switched that out for doctor of traditional Asian medicine. So my perspective comes from that scope, from my years of practice, and that's where my angle. So I just want to make that clear, that I am not a Western medical doctor. I'm a doctor of traditional Asian medicine.
Thank you.
Yes. So tumors, and I think you did a great job talking about them clinically. Fibroids are tumors of the uterus. They are benign. So what this all means is they don't quite take the hint. Like they're cells that are supposed to die off, but they keep dividing and multiplying and making more. What's typically good, because they're benign, is that they stay within the uterus, whereas like when something is malignant, then that's where it doesn't just stay within its area. So typically when people hear, fibroids, they are thinking, well, it's benign, so we don't really have to worry about it. And that's been part of the issue, is that even though fibroids are benign tumors of the uterus, the issues that they can cause are far from benign.
Yes.
And so we see in traditional Asian medicine, we see fibroids as being related to lack of circulation in the womb. That is directly related to what we call emotional constraint, things like resentment, frustration, anger. So right away, we're crossing over. That's the difference, right? Right away, we have this crossover to looking at the mind's effect on body.
Yes.
So, yes.
Well, can you talk a little bit about how sexism and racism affect our awareness around fibroids and other issues affecting our health? I mean, when you talk about...
Hi, are you there? Great.
Oh, yep. Okay, I'm sorry. Did you hear the question?
No, say it again.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't know if my internet cut out there for a moment. So was just wondering, because you started talking about the emotional effects, that how emotions can start to affect fibroids. And so I was, just made me think about how sexism and also racism affect our awareness of fibroids, and other issues affecting our health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So fibroids, 50% of fibroids are asymptomatic, right? So 50% people don't even necessarily know that they have, right? That we're walking around with. And part of it, there are certain conditions that have gotten lots of funding, lots of research for a very long time, right? There's been certain things that have gotten attention, and there's certain conditions that haven't. And so, thank God for Moms Rising. And so for all the different organizations that are working to have things be more on an equal playing field. For the US, the medical system was not created, in my opinion, it was not, and from my research, was not created with Black and brown people in mind. It was not created with women in mind. So the system, we have amazing people who are going back and fixing and shifting things. But I was thinking about it, it's just like, if, here where I live, the cabinets that were put in were for people who are really tall, and I'm not, And so if a environment is set up to work for a certain group of people, right, then, it takes a lot to then shift things so that it can work for everybody. And so that is, in large part why these conversations, as you said, have been more side conversations, and from part of it is there isn't, to my knowledge, from what I'm isn't like a whole lot of needed. It's just
Dr. Danett, hold just one moment. You're glitching a little bit. So I'm going to see if we can pause right there because I do not want to miss what you were saying. See if we can let the internet kind of catch up a moment. Okay. All right. There we go. Let's start again. I apologize for cutting you off, but the internet, the joys and the pains. All right, go ahead. Uh-oh, I think I have lost audio. All right, give us a moment. I think we may have lost audio. All right, Dr. Danett, maybe mute and unmute and see if that works. See if we bring your audio back. Okay, let's see if that worked. Right, that's the old that's the old technician's trick, like turn it on and off, turn mute and unmute. But I don't think that worked. You can still hear me though. Yep. You're freezing and coming back. So I think on our end, maybe we I'm looking at our tech team on the back end. Should we restart, tech team? All right, we're going to try to restart and come back.